Hi, my name is Beth, and you're listening to the Canna Fitness and Nutrition Podcast, where we are hanging out at the intersection of fitness, nutrition, and cannabis. Thank you so much for pressing play today. That means a lot. I feel like this is a very special space because we're on episode like 82 or so, and that's a lot of episodes where we've been chatting about all things cannabis and fitness related, nutrition related, how cannabis can help with those things, your fitness and nutrition, by helping the behaviors that lead to a healthy, fit life and the behaviors that lead you to stay at your ideal weight. I try not to promote this as a weight loss program because most people do want to lose weight. Yeah, okay, that's honest. But instead of having that be the focus, I really want it to be living at your ideal weight, maintaining. So in other words, doing things that are sustainable for you. And that's why I love cannabis, is because it's a sustainable tool. It's not a quick fix. It's something that you can use as a tool in your toolbox that you can enjoy. It's not a medicine you have to take, a requirement for anything. And it's not addictive in nature. It's habit forming, and so that can be a good thing. You can enjoy it, but it doesn't do any harm. There's no risk to it. If you enjoy it, great. If it helps you, great. There's no side effects. Generally, people don't experience side effects, and generally, factly, let's say, it is fact that no one has died from cannabis. You can't overdose. So that's why one of the reasons why I love it, because it just is so safe. It's safe and you get to use it in the amount that feels good for you. So if you like a lot of it and that feels good for you and that helps you, then great. If you like a micro dose, then that helps you too, and that is great. It is different and unique for everybody. And what I discovered over the years as a personal trainer is that there is no one approach that fits everybody. What makes my job interesting, and one of the reasons I love being a personal trainer, is that every session is unique. Very rarely do two different sessions use the same exercise on any given day. Sometimes I'll find something that most people can do, but it may not be the most beneficial thing for them to do, exercise, let's say. So, I may have a client that needs mobility work and balance work. So that session is a lot of balance and mobility. And then maybe the next session is a totally different person with different goals. Maybe they're younger or older and they need power, or maybe they need endurance, or maybe they need hip opening, or maybe they need hip strengthening so that they can stand up taller and combat their desk job. Anyway, I've gone on a tangent here, and I hope you'll understand that what I'm saying is that fitness and health is unique to you. Your fitness and health is unique to you. What you need is special to you. And that includes every tool you have. It includes your exercises are going to be unique to you. What's good for you, what feels good for you. Your nutrition is going to be unique to you. What feels good and what you enjoy is going to be unique to you. And your cannabis use is going to be unique to you. You may love a half a gummy and it helps you fall asleep so that you wake up feeling refreshed. And you also, or your next door neighbor, best friend, sister, may love smoking a joint because it helps them calm down and relax at the beginning of their day. Just for example, you can use it for two totally different ways, for two totally different things, and it's still helping you and how it feels good. So I know that sounded like a tangent, and it a little bit was, but it's also going to lead me into today's topic, which is how to shop for cannabis like a pro. Because the thing is, it is unique. So it's not one size fits all. I can't just be like, oh, okay, go in. If you need sleep, go in and look for XYZ gummy. You could a little bit do that, but you may not want a gummy. Maybe you don't want to wait so long for it to set in, because we're going to talk about how to shop for it based on the differences in cannabis and the things you might be looking for. So I'm going to take you soup to nuts today. So hang in. I hope this isn't too long, but we're just going to start at the very beginning and then get a little bit technical at the end. So hang in. Whether you're new or experienced, I hope that you'll learn a little bit because we are going to talk about terpenes too. So just from the beginning, if you're brand new to cannabis, I need you to know a couple of things. When I talk about cannabis, I'm talking about the plant itself because there's so much goodness in the entire plant. But in the real world here, we pretty much separate the plant into two categories, if you will, based on the legality of it. THC is the part of the plant that makes you high. It is federally illegal. However, it's legal in most states. CBD comes from the exact same plant, but it is the compound that doesn't make you high. So it is perfectly legal everywhere. And you can obtain CBD online, in stores. Sadly, you can find it in like the gas station, but I wouldn't do that. We'll talk about that. So there's two main differences. So starting with that, right? When I talk about cannabis, and if you listen, you know I talk a lot about putting those two things together, CBD and THC, because that's the way the plant was intended to be used. It works best when you put those two things together for things like sleep. So sleep, THC, that part helps you fall asleep, and CBD helps you stay asleep. So if sleep is something you're looking for, then you're going to want a product that has both of those in it. Now we get a little more nuanced, right? So you almost have to start with why you want it. And do you want to be high? Because if you're okay with getting a little bit of a buzz, you can get away with a low-dose THC product that helps you fall asleep and stay asleep, right? That's your best bet, a low-dose THC CBD product. Now, when it's low dose, even though it's illegal currently, and this may change, but currently you can buy those products online. You can do a search and you can find low-dose THC and CBD combination products that help you sleep, because the THC is going to help you fall asleep, the CBD is going to help you stay asleep. Once you start doing that search, you're going to come across CBN. CBN is another what they call minor cannabinoid, so not as prominent as CBD, but still prominent enough to extract and use. CBN, I always say the N is for nighttime, and that's going to help you stay asleep as well. Now, when you go to the dispensary, if you are in a legal state, you will have government run, basically, well, not run, but government regulated stores called dispensaries. Those are created to sell THC. So if you're looking for a CBD product, you're probably not going to find much selection in a dispensary. They will have some selection. Some of them will have some selection, let's say. I find it to be very hit or miss where I live in upstate New York. But you will find THC products. So if you go to a dispensary for something for sleep, you will come across products that have THC in them because that's what they're selling. That's what the stores are there for, regulated products. And it may or may not have CBD in it. My advice, and again, this is how to shop like a pro, would be to hold out, go to a different store if you need to, for a product that has CBD or CBN in it. Just because that CBD and CBN is going to help you stay asleep. And while THC is great for helping you fall asleep, you need that other piece to it just to have the most well-rounded night of sleep so that you can wake up and want to work out, and go on with, make healthy choices and go on with your day. Right? So knowing the difference between CBD and THC and what they do is huge. The other big thing that I want to say almost the exact same thing about is pain. If you're looking for cannabis for pain, a lot of people will tell you to go to the dispensary and get THC and use it for pain. But here's the thing. Yes, that 100% works great, definitely. But you want a product that has CBD in it, because CBD reduces inflammation in the body. And if your pain is caused by inflammation, which it often is, then you're going to want that relief on top of the pain relief. So you want a product that has CBD and THC in it. And again, you can shop online for that. It will be low dose. So if that's okay for you, then that's fine. But if you're in a dispensary where it's regulated THC, you want to look for a product that has some CBD in it as well. Now, all of this information about the THC, the CBD, CBN, should be right on the package. If you're in a legal state, I believe, tell me if I'm wrong, but if you live in a state where it's not, but it's mandated, at least in New York it is, that all information is right on the package. Now, here's some more information about packaging. Packaging is really important. And again, I know this is true in New York, and I'm imagining it's true everywhere because it's just really important. It's good practice to have as much information on the package as possible on the outside. So when you are handed your product, or if you go to one of those stores where you can actually touch it, which I prefer because I want to see what's in it, then it will say exactly how much THC is in it, exactly how much CBD is in it, or CBN, or CBG, or CBC, or any of the minor cannabinoids. CBG, I always say the G is for go, so you'll find that attached to most sativa products if they include a CBG or CBD, because it does have an energizing factor. It also is great for clarity and focus, so if that's what you're looking for, then that's what you'll like the CBG for, but it should be on the package. Now in New York, I know that they're required to put a QR code on the outside of the package. So again, I love it in the dispensaries where you can touch the products because they have those empty boxes, the empty vapes and stuff out, because you can scan that QR code, and that QR code brings you to the certificate of analysis. Yes. So here is where you're going to shop like a pro. You are going to scan the QR code, and that's going to bring you to probably a PDF or a web page that has all the details about the cannabis. Now, I've seen everything because I do love to scan them. And some companies, give more information than others. I love it when you can see their lab testing. And well, it's all lab testing. But I love it when they show you, whether it's pass failed for any mold or anything that might be in it, heavy metals and things that could be good for you. I love it when they show you how much CBD and CBN and CBA and all the things. I'm just making up letters, but sometimes there's a report of how much of each is in there, right? Which is really cool. And sometimes, you got to do a little math sometimes to kind of calculate it out. But the good products will tell you exactly how much is in each thing, and I love it when they have a page of the terpenes present, and that is really cool. And for now, let's assume I'm talking about all products, all packaging. Because once you see what terpenes are in the product, now you can get really into how it's going to affect you. And you can use it for what you want it for. So again, that's the first question you want to ask is, what do you want your cannabis for? Do you want it for sleep? Do you want it for pain? Do you want it for anxiety? Do you want it for appetite suppression? Do you want it for energy? Do you want it to relax? Do you, all of the things, right? It does so many cool things. And the reason it does is because each type of cannabis has each product that they're making now, even gummies and tinctures, all strains of flower have a unique, what's called terpene profile. So they've created and bred these strains with specific genetics so that they have specific components and you get specific effects. Which again is why cannabis I think it's so cool, because as we learn these genetics and these specifics, there's a day where you're going to be growing cannabis in your yard that is the kind that works for you. So if you love it for sleep, then you may be finding that you love myrcene, which is a terpene. And then you may find that you love a certain strain because it has a lot of myrcene. And then maybe it also, helps with your migraines. So, then maybe it has limonene in it as well. So now you're picking and breeding strains that have myrcene and limonene in it and creating a flower or a extraction. If you like a tincture or an oil or a gummy, you can make those yourself. You're making it because it helps you specifically, which is super cool. So I love it when they list the terpenes. Now, if they don't list the terpenes, you can sometimes do a little bit of detective work by going to their website. A lot of times the brands are now listing the terpenes and things on the website because they know that we're getting smarter. Consumers are getting smarter, and we know what we're looking for. We know what we want. I'm going to give you a rundown of the terpenes. And the other thing I highly suggest, especially if you're a flower person, is Leafly. The app Leafly, 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 is great because for a lot of strains, not every single one, because there's probably more than we can keep up with at this point, but for a lot of them, and sometimes you can trace the genetics, it'll tell you its terpene profile. So especially if you can deduce that maybe, the orange is in the name, like I had some orange train wreck, I think it was called. And so it wasn't in Leafly, but I can deduce what's in it based on the fact that it's a derivative of an orange plant and a train wreck plant, right? So you can kind of do some digging. Again, this takes a little bit of time and you have to be interested. So if you're not interested and you'd rather just have someone like me or a bud tender recommend, totally fine. If you even like to do it the fun way where you just try it first and then see how it feels, that's fine too. That is totally fun. But if you want to really nail down how you're going to feel and buy smartly, buy as an educated consumer, then here's the terpenes that you're looking for and the effects that you're looking for. So if you're looking for relaxation and sleep, sedative, trying to fall asleep quickly, you're looking for myrcene. And it's mostly going to be in indicas. Now, I haven't mentioned indica sativa hybrid because those are basically marketing terms that we came up with to help categorize these things. So again, they basically, instead of listing and teaching everyone terpenes and making consumers smart about terpenes, they categorize them into 3 categories to help it make it easier. Indica for sleepy, sativa for energizing, and hybrids for somewhere in the middle. But somewhere in the middle is very vague, so that's why I'm going over the terpenes. So myrcene is when you're looking for relaxation and sedation, falling asleep, right? Limonene. Now, limonene, as it sounds like, right? Limonene, lemon, citrus. When you think citrus, you think body wash that's going to wake you up, invigorating, right? So limonene for mood elevation and stress relief. Limonene, very citrusy. And again, terpenes are found in all kinds of things. They're found in fruits and vegetables. They're found in other plants. That's what they use to make body wash. So limonene. Pinene, another one they use for cleaning products because pine smells clean, I guess. But also, you may even notice this when you think about it, those cleaning products, pinene is great for alertness, memory retention, right? So focus, concentration, clarity. And actually, when you think about it, whenever I mop the floors with that piney stuff, I do kind of feel clear and alert, right? Litalul, that is a lavender scent, is known for anxiety reduction and relaxation. Caryophyllene, which is a peppery, spicy flavor, is anti-inflammatory. Terpinolene, which I actually love because it's found in sativas, which I love it I use sativas, and I love sativas because they have terpenylene, the ones that have terpenylene, because it's very energizing, uplifting, it's kind of a feel good. Now I feel motivated to go do something. Terpenylene. Humulene, now this is the one that they've discovered is great for appetite suppression. So it's a kind of an earthy flavor, and it helps suppress your appetite, which is great. If you're looking for the munchies, myrcene is great for munchies. Just anecdotally here, myrcene is usually the one that's the culprit for the munchies. But there's other podcast episodes about that, so I'm not going to go into that today. There's ocimene. Ocimene is kind of an herbal scent, and it's also very energizing. So it's going to be mostly found in sativas. So there's a saying in the cannabis world that the nose knows. So that's when smelling your flower starts to come into play. And I do love to smell the flower. I use a dry herb vape where it just heats the flower instead of burning it. So you get a really nice aroma and flavor. And I love just smelling it as it's heating. It just smells so delicious. And that is part of the reason why I love the strains I do, is because I love the way they smell. And that's what they mean by the nose knows. If it smells good to you, then it's probably going to feel good for you. So just to recap, we've got THC is what's sold in dispensaries because it is federally illegal and needs to be regulated by the states. CBD can be found online and in stores. Low-dose THC can also be found online and in stores, and that can be just as effective. You want to read the packaging and ask your bud tender if you're not sure ask them to help you interpret the packaging. Look at the certificates of analysis, scan that QR code, and make sure that that exists. There's actual lab testing that's current, and that you get as much information as possible. And then either through the certificate of analysis or through the internet or through Leafly, look at the terpenes and start to get to know the terpenes that you enjoy. Because if you enjoy the smell of a certain type of a certain terpene, then that helps you make decisions much easier as you go, because now you can narrow down your flower preferences or your product preferences by terpene and sift through all the unknowns. So in a nutshell, that's ways to shop like a pro. If you'd like personalized help shopping, I would love to do this, to shop for people. You can reach out to me through the podcast. You can email me. It's beth@cannafitnessnutrition.com. And I hang out mostly on Instagram, where it's Beth_cannafitnessnutrition. And thanks again for listening, and I'll see you next time.